Good question on this.
Good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining us for our April board meeting. Already April. May I have a motion to return the regular board meeting to public session? Ms. Bolan, Ms. Manna, all in favor? Motion carries unanimously. I call the regular board meeting to order. All the board members are present. Dr. Spicer, would you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Please be advised that in the event of fire emergency and an evacuation should be necessary, an alarm will sound. Please note all marked emergency exits and evacuate well away from the building. At this time, we request everyone turn their cell phones and other electronic devices to silent. Thank you. Item 3, recognition. Dr. Brownhall.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, President Singh. So tonight, our first school spotlight takes us to Country Parkway Elementary School as we highlight their fourth grade student council. Raising student voice and having students directly involved in the decision-making process is a key pillar in our diversity, equity, and inclusion plan. I'd now like to welcome Principal Andrew Bowen to share more on the impact the fourth grade student council is having at Country Parkway. And I'll also invite Board Member Bleckinger to say a few words also. So Principal Bowen will pass it over to Board Member Bleckinger when it's appropriate. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Brownhall, and thank you. Good evening, Board of Education. 2 years ago, and as mentioned, our shared decision-making team implemented a fourth grade student council with the purpose of raising student voice. What turned out to happen was far more impactful. We created an opportunity where students were empowered. This led to students taking ownership of their school, increasing a sense of pride, and developing skills such as working with peers towards a common goal. It's truly been a remarkable experience. One of our co-founders of our student council is Beth Ann McPhillips, who is our PTA president and could not be here. So she sent some words with Board Member Bleckinger. So I'll turn it over to her.
Thank you. I am sorry I cannot attend tonight's meeting and want to thank the Board of Education for acknowledging the work of our Country Parkway fourth grade student council. It is with profound gratitude that I would like to thank Principal Bowen for his pivotal role in the establishment of the council, his enthusiastic engagement with student members, and for his steadfast support in ensuring the council's success. He has allowed our student council members to have a true voice and a meaningful purpose by which they can have a lasting impact on our school community. I would also like to extend a heartfelt thank you to our fourth grade families for supporting their children's involvement in the council and to the Country Parkway family as a whole for its unwavering and generous support of the council's many initiatives. For its class gift to the school this year, the council has chosen to replace Country Parkway's marquee sign and has raised the funds for this much-needed replacement. The council's achievements would have been inspired by its members and set and exceed ambitious goals, are a testament of the solid foundation provided by our CP families and community. Once again, thank you for spotlighting our fourth grade student council.
Awesome.
Our 9 and 10-year-olds are very motivated. And again, that was what we found out is empowering students provides motivation. And I can't wait for you to see this video, which gives you a little behind the scenes glimpse of our student council in action. In addition to thanking all of our parents and our volunteers and Beth Ann McPhillips as well. I do want to thank our 2 fourth grade student council advisors, Mrs. Angelica Mott and Ms. Carrie Noe. Please enjoy this video. Thank you. Fourth grade student council is an opportunity for students to plan and prepare their own activities. So it's all student led. These typically would have been activities that in prior years, the adults in the building, whether it be parents or whether it be teachers, just make the decisions for the children. But in this case, we've allowed the students to have ownership of what happens in their fourth grade year.
Students choose everything from the cover of what their yearbook is, what the movies will be at movie night, what class gift that they are going to give to the school, how they will fundraise for that.
We decided that we're gonna fix it up, we're gonna make it better, and it's gonna be there for a very long time. And we got it like almost all planned out, and I think it's just gonna be great.
Students in student council are learning to manage their time. They're learning to work cooperatively. The students are working on creating t-shirts for our fun run. They're putting together information for our campus cleanup. I am always surprised by the things that they accomplish at these meetings. They really feel a sense of pride and community, which is what Country Parkway is so great at.
It's really fun, and like you get to decide stuff for the school, and I feel like proud because if a lot of people like it, then I'm like, I helped in that. Today we worked on getting all the prices, finding what we're going to do in our menu.
The students are really the driving force behind those committees. They will actually initiate that project and run it through to completion. Every time we raise the bar, they take it even one step further. And the skills they're learning will stay with them for the rest of their lives. They're learning budgeting, for example. Say they were talking about price per item and how much money they're going to make in their fundraising goals. They have more buy-in to the school community and what's going on around them. And I think it makes them feel like they have more ownership in their final year here before moving on.
Student council is where you help the building of the school, and I feel good about it because I feel like I'm helping other people, and it's fun and you make new friends.
I'm so proud of what our students are able to accomplish. Student Council is a great activity. It's a great source of pride here at Country Parkway. We've seen tremendous things happen and tremendous growth when you give opportunities for students to show leadership and a little independence. Great things happen.
That was awesome. Thank you very much, Principal Bowen. Next, throughout our district, our arts department continues to shine, from the art room to the music halls and the stage with the elaborate drama and musical productions. Tonight, we are learning more about a unique opportunity presented to students at Williamsville South, a drama masterclass. I'd like to welcome Principal Keith Bortman and Eleanor Gainey, and also some of our students, to share more about this incredible opportunity.
Thank you. Thank you for having us. I'm not going to spend much time. I'm going to let them do a lot of the talking, but I think I speak probably for all of the principals when I say, one of the things we really enjoy about the school spotlights is our ability to kind of highlight things that I don't think get seen a lot by a lot of people, and let you know some of the opportunities that our kids have. And as we were going through this year, I was actually talking about it with Mr. Filipowski, what we could do for South this year. And one of the things that we've seen a lot is some changes in what we've done with Drama Club, and in particular, having these master classes, which is something that I don't think a lot of places have. And there are opportunities for our students that are really neat. And so I'm going to turn it over to Ms. Gainey, who is the advisor for Drama Club, who is really the person who has brought this to South High School.
Hi. I'd like to thank you first for all your support over the years for our drama programs. One of the things that's so wonderful is to be able to see people from the community, people from the board, people from the administrative team being present at our events. We are so very, very grateful. When I took over Drama Club, when I came back to Drama Club, I should say, 2 years ago, I decided that I thought so many of our students want to be professional performers, professional artists in one way, shape, or form. And so I wanted them to be exposed to as many different things that they could be. So I've had the privilege of having a Broadway performer come in.
Wow.
I've had a marketing specialist for Broadway come in. That was last year. This year, we've had 2 master classes on adjudication of monologues. So the kids who are doing their college auditions can actually have that opportunity. And our masterclass, which we are spotlighting today, which was from a performer who has this most amazing pedigree. So I'm going to stop talking for a second. I'm going to introduce to you the wonderful people who are behind me. So Izzy Dobies, a senior 4-year member of the Drama Club. Kai Harrington, president of the Drama Club and a 4-year member of the musical and drama staff. Jillian Sears, a member of Drama Club, as well as one of our tech directors and stage crew people. Marcus Beecham, the historian of Drama Club, and Bella Garcia, who is a 3-year senior performer.
Awesome.
And I'm going to turn it over for just a second for Kai Harrington to tell you a little bit about what we do.
Awesome.
Hello to all. Thank you for having us. As Ms. Gainey said prior, I am president of Drama Club, and it is an honor to speak for you all today. Drama Club, in a way, is a way that the students find the passion and find their community at South. There are so many opportunities for us to delve into who we want to be and what we want to do. And no matter what part of Drama Club that you want to participate in, there is some way for us to really delve into our passion and expand on our knowledge of the musical arts and the theater. These master classes have truly transformed how we have viewed Drama Club and the way we can implement it into our performances and auditions. And it is a way that it will impact us for the rest of our lives. We will be using these skills. And I am eternally grateful for the amount of opportunities that this has brought us, and I am hoping that it will stay with Drama Club as we do 3 major performances a year. We are continuing these master classes, and I'm just hoping that this will be supported for many years to come.
Absolutely.
So, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
We're gonna start first, finding breath and body.
We are putting on pretty much every emotion possible when you're acting on stage, right? You're putting on happiness, sadness, complex emotions, putting on happiness and sadness at the same time. And so the breath really is what connects those emotions together.
Remember that as you're building your characters, as you're going, my name is Amy. Hi, my name is Amy, and I'm really nice to meet you. Fill it up with a breath.
For me, before, breath was just what you did before you said your line. It was not something that you really incorporated into your character, but she really took us on a journey to really discover our character and how we can fluctuate our breath in order to change what kind of character we're portraying. You only think about it like, oh, make sure you breathe before a line, but it's never in your actions, but it's so important. So I think it was fun just seeing people kind of explain like what it was in character, and also when they were doing like the other person's actual walk, I thought it was like really interesting to see, because you never think about how you walk, but then when you see someone else do it, it's like, it seems like a character because someone else is doing it. I thought that was really cool.
Take those breaths, where are you putting the breath?
I definitely learned what it's like from the perspective of an actor and the little things that they have to learn. And stage crew has to learn things like how to call cues and how to rig all of the things in the ceiling. But we don't have to learn anything as little and minuscule and as important to the story as what we just did. So that was really cool.
So this is what I'm going to do post high school. So to have master classes like these are critical and so important to kids who are just like me, who want to go into this, because it gives them not only a professional aspect, but a professional giving you tips on how to improve. She was talking about auditions as well. When you're auditioning for something, which I've had to do for schools, it's hard to take those breaths and sort of feel grounded and feel comfortable, but you have to. You have to put on a brave face. You have to act and use your body and movement. You know, also signing in this industry, like on stage as well, is amazing, and I really want to get into that as well, doing ASL work in theater. So it was just really cool to see her.
That is absolutely awesome. Thank you very much. Everyone knows how I am about theater and musicals and stuff. Oh, I love them dearly.
Thursday is our celebration of South Talent. One exit talented performers.
Oh, thanks for letting us know.
Yes, they just a shameless plug. And it's a charity event.
Oh,
Next what day?
Thursday.
Thursday. Okay.
For John, we're doing two charities: John Hopkins Bile Duct Research and Hospice. One of our students actually came to us and asked us if we would do some promotion about bile duct. He had lost his grandmother this year, and so that is what we're doing.
Thank you very much. Thank you all. Awesome. And Singh, I turn it back over to you.
Are there any other board acknowledgements?
I just have a comment. Just a kudos to both these schools for leading the way for our district and doing these opportunities that are outside of the box for our students. And I know the board last year had the opportunity to witness firsthand some of the board members of the fourth grade student council, and they were all dressed professionally and really shows great leadership skills and accountability and responsibility and a way to promote student voice. So thank you for that.
Yeah, to piggyback off that, watching the video, I thought to myself, being in the educational field as well. That's what's so great about Williamsville. It's, Maple West has a student council. Now Country Parkway does. There's so many opportunities for our students if they look. It's not just sports. It's not just, the musicals. Yeah. There's so many things that the kids can get involved with. And it's important because, in the world we live in, to give these students an opportunity to express themselves and join something that they feel attached to. Yeah. That is what education is about. That's what public school is about. It's a testament to the administration at these schools that they allow this. And to our district office administration to find the budget room, and it's wonderful, knowing we have so many great things and my kids are going to be able to come through and do things like this. It's awesome.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I just wanted to wish the people who celebrate Passover a happy Passover, which will commence Monday evening.
Yeah. Dr. Spicer.
I just wanted to say kudos to those crafters that participated in the Mill Craft Show this past weekend and to the organizers. I am sporting my newly crafted earring. But I am wearing them too because I love earrings, but very impressive that a middle school student whose name I did not get, I apologize, was very talented. She had so many different things, but so many of the kids did. It was just such an impressive event. So kudos to them.
Awesome.
Okay. Moving on to public expression. Do you have anyone signed up? Okay. Moving on. Next item is the staff feedback survey. Dr. Brownhall.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, President Singh. So what we pride ourselves on and the administration and the board is collaboration, really hearing from our constituents, our stakeholders, our employees. And we want to make sure that we're observing data to see if what we're doing is the right thing. We have committees formed, we ask for participation. We want to see if that translates into our employees, our constituents really feeling heard and that they have a voice in our district. So board members asked last year that we do some sort of survey to make sure that we're hitting the nail on the head. And as part of my evaluation, it really speaks to those issues of collaboration and shared decision making. So I contacted VA Evaluation, who is just phenomenal in the work that they do of surveying, and Carolyn Taggart. We are lucky to have her this evening. She worked with our district on the staff feedback survey, and she'll go into the details on how it was crafted, developed, and some of the information we can gather from the survey. Carolyn, thank you very much for being here.
Great. Thank you. All right, so I have a presentation.
My name is Caroline Taggart. I am a senior project evaluation manager at Via Evaluation. We're a small women-owned business located in downtown Buffalo, and we work with a variety of entities and organizations, including many school districts, on evaluation-related and data analysis services. So I'm going to be talking tonight about the Williamsville Staff Feedback Survey. I want to acknowledge that I am going to move relatively quickly through this in honor of time and to not bore everyone with details. But please, if you have specific questions or you feel I am moving too quickly, feel free to stop me. I'm okay being interrupted. I am a former middle school teacher, so I know what that is like. And I do have time at the end for questions and answers to get everything satisfied if you do have questions. So briefly, a timeline. I worked with Dr. Brown Hall back in November to develop the survey. I'm going to talk more about each of these components in a second. Then we did a randomization process in January to identify who would be surveyed. And then we conducted the survey the last week of February and first week of March. In terms of survey development, I have a background in survey design and development, and we knew this was going to be a customized survey specifically to meet the needs of Dr. Brown Hall's questions about what was happening around 3 particular topic areas. So we wanted to probe about district communications, basically how people feel, how staff feel about district communications, whether they're being communicated with effectively. We wanted to know about shared decision-making and staff engagement. Really, are people feeling heard? Are they feeling engaged in the decision-making process? And we wanted to ask about professional learning and advancement. Are people feeling like they're getting developed as they should be to continue excelling in their job? Then we had some basic demographics that we wanted to collect. So we ended up with 21 Likert scale questions or items, and then 4 open-ended questions. We did want to give people an opportunity to provide comments, and then we had some basic demographic questions. There are almost 1,800 employees in the district, and we knew we weren't going to be able to survey every single one of them. So we wanted to aim to get a representative sample of staff in the district. We wanted about 20% of staff to complete a survey. So we did an oversampling process. We identified where everybody fell in terms of their location and their role. And then we looked to identify how many would be 30% within each of those categories. We did a random number generator, and we found 555 people that were going to receive the survey. To be clear, this is confidential. No one other than me and my staff know who those 555 individuals were who ended up being surveyed. So the district is not aware who those 555 individuals were. We did the survey administration through Via Evaluation's HIPAA Secure SurveyMonkey platform. So we host that ourselves. Dr. Brown Hall's office sent out a pre-notification email. That helps us increase response rate. It lets everyone know the purpose of the survey. It went to all staff members in the district. So people were notified you may or may not receive a survey link in a week and a half. If you do, please complete the survey. So we did use an email collector that's anonymous. So the names of the people who completed the survey are confidential. They're only known to me, but the survey responses are actually entirely anonymous. This means that we were able to email people, and I know whether or not they answered the email, like to go in and fill out the survey, but I can't connect their survey responses to their email address or even their IP address. It's fully anonymous. We did, because we used the email collector, we were able to send reminder emails. Again, our goal was to get as many people as possible to respond. We ended up with 353 responses. That works out to be 64% of all people who were invited, or 20% of the staff overall. And we did have a representative sample. The numbers on the screen, not really important. And these are the same numbers sorted in a different order. All this is really saying is that we ended up getting a pretty representative sample. We got proportionally exactly what we wanted and what we were looking for, generally speaking. We also collected demographics, respondent-based demographics. Survey was anonymous, so I don't know who they are, but this is what they reported, and it looks, again, pretty representative. So all that is to say that when we move into the results section, we're pretty confident that it's representative of the general staff population. So the summary of results, we had, as I mentioned, those 3 topic areas. The first topic area that we asked about was district communication. We positively worded all of these items. So agreement is what we're looking for. Agreement is good. And we color code this. So agreement is the blue, the dark blue is the percent of people who strongly agree, and the lighter blue is the agreement. Then we have the gray, light gray disagree, and dark gray strongly disagree. These are not the order in which the items appeared on the survey. They're sorted based on descending order of agreement percentage overall. So at the top, you'll see that the very first item that we have here about whether the district has systems in place to effectively communicate, almost 90% or just over 90% of staff agreed with that. That's a really high level of agreement. In my world, I do a lot of surveying. It's a pretty high level of agreement. And as you go down from there, staff feel as though they're informed about safety procedures. They understand what to do. They feel as though they're adequately informed about what's going on in the district. And then the lowest level of percentage among these 5 items, you're still at 70% agreement. So again, really high. District did very well in district communications. When we get to shared decision-making and staff engagement, we do see the level of agreement decline. Less blue on the screen. You can see the top item where we had the strongest level of agreement was only at 64%. So again, on district communications, your lowest level of agreement was 70%. On this section, the highest level of agreement was 64%. So it is lower. And you can see that as we probed and asked questions about, do you feel engaged? Do you feel you have opportunities? Do you feel as though the district is transparent in decision-making? We did see the level of disagreement increase across there. And these are the last 4 items. All of these hover, well, the top one is 41%, but all of them go below 40% on the level of agreement. So this is where there's more of a concern, particularly in the increase in the strong disagreement category, which you see in the dark gray along the side. And I'll talk a little bit more about this at the end. We then had the third section, which was professional learning and advancement. And as you can see, we went back in the direction of blue. There's a lot more blue on the screen. The top item is what we consider a global measure. We ask these types of questions on almost every survey that we do. It says, are you happy working in Williamsville schools? And you can see that almost 90% of staff said yes, and you had 30% strongly agree. It's a very high level of strong agreement. So that's a really good global indicator to have. You can also see that generally speaking, people feel as though they're getting the needs met in terms of supporting and developing their skills. So what's going well? As I just mentioned, staff are really happy working in Williamsville schools. 30% strong agree on that item is one of the highest levels of strong agreement that we saw across the 21 points. That's a really high level of strong agreement. People seem pretty enthusiastic about it. Again, that's really good. Staff are well informed. As I mentioned, pretty much everything in the district communication section was blue. We had a lot of blue over there. That's really good. Staff are feeling as though they're getting communicated information. Additional learning and support are available. Again, staff generally reported that they feel as though they have what they need in order to advance their skills and develop their skills. But what should be worked on is that staff aren't necessarily feeling their voices are respected. Nearly 60% of staff disagree, and one of the highest levels of strong disagreement was around whether staff feel their voices are being respected. It's obviously an area of concern. Staff don't feel decision-making is transparent. I do think that this probably plays into some of those other components and items that we asked about where staff had higher levels of disagreement, that they really understood how to become engaged, how to share their voice, and whether they were getting, able to participate in decision-making. But then we had this interesting finding. Staff aren't engaged in decision-making, but they might be okay with that because about 2/3 of respondents don't feel that they see staff in decision-making roles. But then also almost 60% said they're actually completely fine with the level of decision-making that they have. So again, you get this kind of mixed message. Maybe they're not necessarily seeing what their role is or how staff are being engaged in decision-making, but also they don't necessarily want to be the ones tasked with doing that decision-making. So that's a little bit of another area to be explored. Now, questions?
Question.
Tamana?
Thank you. It was a well-done survey, and excuse me, demographically, as far as the percentage of employees based on the amount of years with the district was very well. It's amazing how well spread out it was. Very even, yes. So I guess as a 2-part question, top-down communication, very good. Bottom up, needs work. Have you done other surveys for schools? And if you have, how would you feel like our bottom up survey was compared to other schools, if you can answer that?
So I can't necessarily answer specifically this because this was a customized survey. It was really unique for us to be asked to develop a survey around district communications and shared decision-making. We do a lot of school surveying. We typically survey instructional staff, particularly around school climate and culture. So I have a little bit of indication around how people feel about working in their schools. Those are usually measures like, are you happy working in the schools? We also do have questions on other surveys around, do you feel your voice is respected? I would say Williamsville is above average in terms of the percent of staff who feel that they really like working in the schools, and then slightly below average on the shared decision-making participation. Although the shared decision-making is often lower in many of the other schools that we work in.
Well, it's very important to, get into the minds of our employees to really ask them what they think of us and for them to be honest and warts and all, look at it. So I think the challenge for the board and the superintendent is how do we increase staff participation to the point where they feel like their opinions are valid? And I think that's, I mean, it's always part of our plan. I've written strategic plan or our everyday plan. And I mean, it just shows that we know we have work to do. And
we're starting with that work. I know a lot of times, even when speaking with teachers on the different committees, realizing that when we have a committee and we have teachers on the committee, administrators on the committee, board members on the committee, you're representing those constituents. It's not just your voice. So we are thinking and we ask that you go back and you get additional information from the teachers. That's how teachers, we can't have all 1,000 teachers on the committee, right? So the teachers we have on the committee, that's how you funnel your input through your representatives on the committee. So that's taking some work also, so that administrators also, if there's 2 administrators on the committee, these are your representatives. Talk to them. That's how you get your voice heard on whatever this committee is. We have to do more work on that so individuals know who their representatives are on the committees and they contact those individuals.
Dr. Lichtman?
Yeah, I'm going to do some method. Well, I don't want to get too heavily into methodology, but I guess my first question would be, why did you use a 4-point Likert scale versus a 5-point Likert scale?
It's a great question.
Which is a basic one.
Yeah.
Sorry to ask.
Yeah. So we tried to
Appropriate.
frame all of the questions. Usually when there's a neutral option, people will gravitate towards it. We tried to frame all of the questions so that neutral isn't really what you could say. We wanted to sort of push people into thinking clearly about whether they were on the more of the agreement side or the disagree in a general sense. And we provided that information in the instructions. But we do, we go back and forth. There's lots of debate in the survey methodology world that some people love to talk about for a long time, like me. But the decision to eliminate a neutral or provide a neutral option is always hotly debated. But we do see when we offer it, people will pick it. And then you'll end up like 54% neutral. And it's not that, it's not necessarily informative. And so we work really hard to structure our items so that neutral is like not really, you can't really feel neutral about whether you like working in the school, like choose a side. So
that's what I was going to say. It's a positive
Yeah.
methodological strategy.
Right.
But one question jumped out at me because I teach some of this at the graduate level. Under district communication, it says, I am adequately informed about what is going on within the district.
Yes.
I mean, the question above it, listed in one below it, are perfectly very clear. I read that and I wrote next to it, I didn't know what you were really wanting to know. So if I was trying to read this and respond,
right,
I'm not sure what I would say because I wouldn't know what.
Yeah, that word adequately can be interpreted differently for different people. And so we wanted to be clear, what do people feel? We want people to think about looking at that question and think like, do I feel like I'm getting the appropriate amount of communication? And we do have the open-ended question, which is where we get a lot of feedback. People provided responses that indicated sort of what they were thinking in relation to that.
Yeah. Because I was unclear on that. And otherwise, I thought you did a very good job. The information is valuable. It's presented well. So I thank you.
Thank you.
Carolyn, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Just to put an exclamation point behind what Mr. Manor said, we really are going to take this to heart. And we see we do have work to do because one of the key things there were employees knowing how to provide input, right? So that's really, and we're a very collaborative, I say district, and people say, well, who's the district? We all are, right? We want to be very collaborative and make sure everyone knows that they do have a voice. So we do have work to do to make sure our employees know how that voice can be heard. So thank you very much for the survey results, helping construct the survey, all the work you did behind it. Thank you very much.
Thank
you so much.
Good evening.
Just one follow-up, Dr. Brownhouse. Is there a plan to follow up with this survey like on a yearly basis to see what progress we're making, if any?
Maybe not yearly, maybe every other year, just so that it'll give us enough time to make progress. I turn it back over to you, President Singh.
We're moving on to reviewing the code of conduct. Dr. Brownhall, back to you.
Me again. Thank you very much, President Singh. So I would encourage all of our community members and our constituents and stakeholders to review our newly designed code of conduct. I want to thank the Wellness Committee and our Assistant Superintendent, Tony Scanzuzo, for the work that was done. There was a lot of editing, reworking, and you can see that when you review the code of conduct online. We're very, very proud of the document. And I'll ask Assistant Superintendent Scanzuzo to just talk about some of the highlights, if you will.
Thank you, Dr. Brownhall. Yeah, we're very proud of this this document. I think that this is something that's been years in the making from the council's perspective, really kind of taking a lens of restorative practices and kind of melding what we currently had in a code of conduct and making it what it is today. And I think that we've done a really nice job. And I want to thank everybody who was on the committee over the last few years, because even though this is a document that we set forth this year for next year's 24-25 school year, this is something that's been in the works for a few years now. And, just kind of making the revisions to bring it up to the level of that we feel characterizes where we're going as a district, and with restorative practices, and really kind of highlighting, a lot of the, and rewording a lot of the former information that was in our current code of conduct with the restorative practices lens, even from the responsibilities of what the expectations are for students, for families, with regard to parents, caregivers, and guardians, what their expectations are with the restorative model in mind, along with our educators, our counselors, our social workers, psychologists, our administrators, district staff members, superintendent, board of education, what their roles and responsibilities really look like when it comes to restorative lens, when it comes to the code of conduct. And, we're at a point now, we wanted this to be like a 5-year kind of plan, and we're in about year 3 of rolling out restorative practices. We feel comfortable and confident that some of the foundational work that's been done on behalf of instruction with Linda Rouet and Dr. Debate, and what's being currently picked up by Dr. Steppenbeck with community circles and check-ins and those kinds of things that are happening on a daily and weekly basis, really play an important role in developing the foundation for what a restorative practices district looks like, and how we handle situations where students either fall below what the expectation is for them, when they're faced with those situations. And it's really powerful, and we're seeing it. We're seeing it with our athletic code of conduct. We're seeing it with long-term suspensions, and it's quite powerful when we have a sit-down where students are actually taking ownership and accountability for their actions, and really taking a perspective look from really on the outside looking in on what they could have done should they were in a situation again, and really the impact of their decision on not only themselves, but their family, their peers, the school's community, and just the greater good of the building. And knowing that, when you leave and you see how impactful and powerful that is, does really lend to a change in behavior. And that's really what we're looking to fulfill and see when we have situations like that, when it comes to discipline consequences and students falling below the expectations that we set forth for them. So this document it's a great, we want it to be not only appealing for the eye, it really is. It's a great document. We kind of model this after the Schenectady School District's Code of Conduct as we were doing some research over the last few years. We've got a lot of candid pictures of students, and as you said, a lot of the information that's in red are areas that'll be deleted and changed, and those that are in green are those that are going to be added. And I hope that everybody takes the next 30 days to really review this document in detail and provide us with any feedback, which will be open, with Mitchell as of tomorrow. So looking forward to it. And again, this is by far not done, as we will continue to monitor and progress and make changes as we see fit that kind of follow the pattern of society and how it affects our school district and what we want to see happening within our schools from an expectation standpoint.
Thank you very much, Assistant Superintendent Scanzuzo.
Are there any questions or comments?
I just want to thank all of there's a long list of people who are involved in all aspects of the district and the community, and that's very valuable. And I want to thank you for the time and effort of all of you who put it together. I think having seen it evolve through the years and things keep being added and added, again, the school safety for our students and knowing what is expected of them, I think is always valuable to promote. So thank you.
You're welcome.
I'd just like to add that, part of the restorative practices is to help create a sense of community, and that sense of community and belonging in our schools does impact academic performance we see in the research. So there is also the academic tie-in to the way our district has been moving towards these restorative practices. And it was something that I had asked about when I first got on the board, and I've seen wonderful progression since I've started here, and I appreciate all the work. Thank you.
In terms of restorative practices, we all know the adolescent brain isn't fully developed till well over 21, and yeah, that's what I was well over 21. And it's just important to understand that we as a district have an understanding that kids are going to make mistakes, and that's life. And the most important thing is learning from that mistake. And I think this sets us up very well for that. So kudos.
Thank you.
I have a question or a comment. Thank you for all this work. When I read the email, the words in red, it says are going to be removed.
Right.
Looking at like the definitions.
We have glossary in the back.
But you didn't move. You just moved them. You didn't remove. You didn't.
We added quite a few. Yeah, it's a much more involved glossary with a restorative context and frame to it.
Just to be clear, so it's not removed. It's just moved and then added to.
Correct.
To a different piece. Yes. That's I want to make sure people know.
Oh, absolutely.
They see the red that we're removing all those. We're not. It's been moved and you've added to that.
Correct.
Thank you for clarifying.
See that in the table of contents also is kind of reshuffled and restructured, and you can see the glossary of terms at the end. So
thank you.
Absolutely, you're welcome.
Any other questions? Okay. We will now have a public forum for the code of conduct only. Anyone wishing to address the board in regard to the code of conduct may go to the podium this time. Okay. Moving on.
Close public expression. We just move on.
Okay, Dr. Brunhall, back to you.
Oh, community update. Okay.
Like he's surprised.
We're going through each one. That's awesome. Great. Night of presentations. So this is the community update for April 16th, 2024. A lot of great information as usual. So we'll talk about the vote and the election. So our annual budget vote and Board of Elections will take place on Tuesday, May 21st from 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. at Williamsville North High School. If you click on the links that are in the community update, there'll be information on the absentee ballot and early voting information and the board candidate information. So nomination packets are due April 22nd by 5 o'clock p.m. to the district clerk, Ms. Lynn Carey. Candidates night is May 9th. We do have a budget hearing that night. And then we have candidates night, the Meet the Candidates night, sponsored by the League of Women's Voters in partnership with the PTSA Council. So the approximate start time is 7 o'clock p.m. and it will be live streamed on the district's YouTube channel. And if I'm not mistaken, members of the public will be able to submit questions that night to the candidates, correct? Okay. The new website. The new district and school websites are now live. They're streamlined content and navigation. We've gotten great responses from our community members and our parents. We also have our district directory and our specific site search option. Links to the new sites were shared through Wix and social media. Any feedback you have, and we're asking, please provide feedback. If there's something you think is missing or something you feel is buried, please provide us that feedback at contact@williamsvillek12.org. We are very pleased with the way our website design is, the way it appears, and the feedback we have received. So I want to say a special thank you to our Executive Director of Communications, Mr. Nick Filipowski. who led our communications team, and the website sub-communications team. So now that we have this final product. So thank you very much, Nick. This graphic did not appear well, but what this is showing you online is that we are underway in Spirit Week. So the Superintendent's Inter-High Advisory Council decided to also add our middle schools this year to Spirit Week. So it is a high school event. Our middle schools are now participating on Monday, Thursday, and Friday. And then our board members will be the final judges of which schools had the most spirit. And we have trophies for each. So we're very excited about that also. I believe yesterday was onesie pajama day. Today is teachers dressed like students, students dressed like teachers day. And I can't remember the rest of them off the top of my head. Wednesday is anything but a backpack day. Thursday is country versus country club day, and Friday is the school spirit day. You wear your school spirit. That's the day I'm most excited about. I want to let everyone know that April 22nd begins our district-wide art show. The Buffalo and Erie County Public Library, the Audubon branch, at 350 John James Audubon Parkway. We hosted it there last year too. It's a phenomenal event. Our students are so very talented. So I encourage you to stop by and to see all the wonderful pieces of art. It will be running from April 22nd until May 5th, 2024. Very exciting music education. For the 16th straight year, our district has been named a Best Community for Music Education by the National Association of Music Merchants Foundation. So we're very excited about that yet again. Our SEAC update. So we had our SEAC meeting yesterday. I want to thank again Assistant Superintendent Scanzuzzo and our Director Kathy Raxel for co-chairing that committee. And we're finalizing the special education mission and vision statements. And that's through a subcommittee focused on the special education strategic plan. And they'll be reviewing short-term and long-term goals and action steps to say what the district's next steps should be, and reviewing professional learning opportunities for the summer and the 24-25 school year. So if you go back and look at the review that the Western New York Education Service Council did last year, one of the items was to have more in-depth and more choice for our teachers, our special ed teachers, for their professional learning. And so we have done that, and we will continue to do that. We will have summer institutes, and with the additional PD days we have next year, the special education department, our directors and Assistant Superintendent Scanzuzzo are really mapping that out. So our teachers have a variety of selections for professional learning. Our ELA and math New York State testing is underway, actually. So our grades 3 and 4 paper-based testing for ELA occurred last week, April 11th and 12th. And for mathematics, it will be May 7th and 8th. Our grades 5 through 8 computer-based testing, English language arts, began today and will continue tomorrow. Science for grades 5 and 8 only is on April 30th. And the math portion of the New York State assessments are May 14th and 15th for our grades 5 to 8. And those will be computer-based also. Our summer school information, we keep it here in the community update, so it's easy access for our parents, but the information will be available on the district website in early May. We have our elementary and middle taking place at Transit Middle School from July 9th through August 19th. High school will take place at Williamsville East from July 8th through August 20th, and our special education location is High Middle School, and that is July 8th through August 16th. Now, when we have the information available on the website, please pay close attention to the dates, because some of the weeks are only Monday through Thursday and no Friday. Our speaker series, we are in the process of developing topics for the 24-25 speaker series for the upcoming year. Now, many of you know we partner with the PTSA Council for our speaker series. And during our community forum on March 26th, many families expressed interest in learning more about curriculum. So we have our website where we have our curriculum overview, and we're also coordinating with Dr. Bailing in the Office of Instruction regarding curriculum area highlights for the speaker series next year. Last but not least, I said it on the weekly update, but I also want to share it here. We want to send a special thank you to our planetarium director, Mr. Mark Percy, for all that he did to really prepare our district for the eclipse. Although he can't plan the weather, there was a lot of planning, over 2 years of planning that went into making sure we had our glasses. We partnered with the PTSA Council for that, making sure we had special presentations and special curriculum that students understood prior to the eclipse, and the packets that went home with all of our students. So Mr. Percy was instrumental in all of that. So we want to say thank you very much, Mr. Percy. Last but not least, I do ask Nick to put up a special worksheet that our assistant superintendent, our interim assistant superintendent of finance and management systems, Mr. Tom Matursky, developed that may be beneficial and that our community members will find helpful. So I'll ask Tom to take it from here and just explain a little bit about it, and it will be available on our district website.
Thank you, Dr. Brown Hall. As we all know, the town of Amherst, as well as the town of Clarence, are changing their equalization rates this year. So we're going to just kind of run through this example that is for the town of Amherst. Now, their equalization rate on this top section, you can see it's 62%. This worksheet is meant to do two things. There's only two input areas that are out there for our community residents to use. And one is that they would put in the assessed value that's from their 2023 statement. And this is the assessed value, not the equalized value. And I want to be clear with that. And then you would do the same, the assessed value in a section below that's linked to the 2024 tax bill. What will happen is there's formulas in here that will show based upon the current estimate. And I want to emphasize the current estimate is what we consider with no additional changes to growth in assessed values through the town's total assessed value, not the individual taxpayer. So what it really does is it breaks down in this section whether or not the increase is attributed to the town and your assessed value going up, or it's attributed to the increase, which is 2.97% of our levy. And as you go through, and we're not going to go through the entire thing here, but you can see that there's sections down that would say, okay, this is the amount that would be attributed to the levy. In this particular example, it was worked out specifically to show that if there were no increase in the assessed value from the prior year to this year, and Nick, if you could just scroll up to the very top, I can highlight this for the community. You can see that the amount on top would have been a $250,000 assessed value, which works out to an equalized value that's higher last year. So that higher value we're assuming in this example is the exact same amount that happened this year at 100%. And that's why if you look at this example down below, there's no change on the Amherst tax. If you had another situation where your values are going up greater, it's going to show an amount in there for the increase due to the town of Amherst assessed value growth. So I'm just going to leave it at that. Certainly, if there are more questions, you can contact the business office and myself, and I'm happy to go through anyone's tax statement, their assessed values, and work them through this formula.
Thank you very much, Mr. Matursky. We appreciate that. I think that our community members will find that helpful. I'm going to jump to item 6B, our district's informational technology department update. This document is available in board docs, and I encourage everyone to look through it because you will get updates on all of our New York State strategic goals. Goal 1, devices in our school. We have updates about that. Goal 2, instructional technology and our action steps. Goal 3, our infrastructure and security and our action steps on that. And then our current technology initiatives, followed by our current technology task. So this is a very detailed document, and you can see how our district is meeting our goals and how we're advancing many of our current technology initiatives in the district. President Singh, I turn it back over to you.
Any questions? Okay. Moving on to President's report. The onboarding committee will be meeting on April 18th. The Board of Education retreat will be held on April 24th. I'm assuming all of us are coming. Okay. The SIAC Student Forum with the Board of Education will be on Monday, May 20th. All events, other events and building visits are listed in board docs. Are there any board member comments or questions regarding any events, meetings, or building visits? Okay. Board candidate information is listed in board docs. The annual voter information is also in board docs. Policy Review 8000 committee will be meeting on May 22nd. Review of the draft Board of Education meeting calendar. Are there any questions or comments regarding the dates? The ECASB and NISBA items are also in both docs. Mrs. Kazmarek Bogner will be attending the NISBA virtual workshop on May 8th. Any questions on any other ECASB or NISBA items? Under board liaison assignments, does anyone have anything to report under liaison assignments? There was no correspondence in the last month. Under agenda items 9 through 13, minutes, personnel, business and finance, exceptional education, special needs, and student activities and instruction. May I have a motion to approve agenda items 9 through 13 as presented? Dr. Littman, Dr. Spicer, any discussion? All in favor? Motion carries unanimously. At this time, I would like to thank the following retirees for their service to our district. Helen AGS, Teacher Aide, KC Middle School, 23 years of service. Kathleen Crawford, Teacher Aide, Transit Middle School, 18 years of service. Micheline Drar, Account Clerk, Typist, District Office, Student Service Department, 41 years of service.
Wow.
Krista Hughes, Social Studies Teacher, North High School, 27 years of service. Cynthia Langer, Teacher Aide, Maple West, 10 years of service. Lucille Miranda, Clerk Typist, South High School. And thank you all for your service. Is there a motion to take policy 6191 from the table for second reading and adoption? Mr. Mano? Second. Ms. Blackinger, any discussion? All in favor? Motion carries unanimously. May I have a motion for the second reading and adoption of policy 6191, workplace violence prevention policy, statement as presented? Ms. Kazmarek-Bogner, Ms. Dr. Littman, any discussion? All in favor? Motion carries unanimously. Is there a motion to take policies 7134, 7313, 7320 from the table for second reading and adoption? Mr. Manna, Ms. Blackinger, all in discussion? All in favor? Motion carries unanimously. May I have a motion for second reading and adoption of policies 7134, 7313, and 7320 as presented? Ms. Kazmarek-Bogner, Mr. Manna, any discussion? All in favor? Motion carries unanimously. Is there a motion for the first reading of the policies 1640 as presented? Dr. Spicer, Ms. Blackinger, any discussion? All in favor? Motion carries unanimously. May I have a motion to table policy 1640 for second reading and adoption at the May board meeting? Ms. Blackinger and Ms. Poolen, any discussion? All in favor? Motion carries unanimously. 81 BOCES election. Would someone like to make a motion to resolve that upon recommendation of the Superintendent of Schools, Williams Central School District of Education, adopts the proposed 81 BOCES administrative budget for 24-25 in the amount of $4,008,100 as presented.
So move.
Ms. Poolen, any discussion? Dr. Littman?
Just that I served on that committee and, we went through it and it seems to be fine. Ask for your support.
Any other discussion, comments? All in favor? Motion carries unanimously. At this time, we'll take a vote on Erie 1 BOCES board member election. Ms. Carey will be taking the roll call after board members cast their vote for candidates. Would someone like to make a motion to resolve to cast one vote in the annual election of 2 members for the Board of Education of the Board of Cooperative Educational Services, First Supervisory District?
I'm looking for a nomination.
Oh. Ms. Kathleen.
I resolve to cast one vote for Edward Cavan, the incumbent, located in the Sweet Home Central School District, to serve as a trustee for the Board of Cooperative Educational Services, First Supervisory District of Erie County, in a term beginning July 1st, 2024 through June 30th, 2027.
Mr. Manna, second.
I'll take roll call vote. Please say yes or no when I call your name. Dr. Littman,
Abstain.
Dr. Spicer,
Yes.
Mr. Biscaglia,
Yes.
Ms. Kazmarek-Bogner,
Yes.
Dr. Singh,
Yes.
Ms. Blackinger,
Yes.
Mr. Manna.
I believe this board needs to come up with a policy about abstentions and when it is proper to abstain. So I will be presenting something for review. I think our job here is to vote, so I am going to vote yes.
Ms. Pullen,
Yes.
Mr. Beelan.
Yes.
Okay, thank you, everyone. Dr. Singh, I'll turn it back to you for the next.
Would
Vote.
anyone like to make a motion for the second? Ms. Blackinger?
I resolve to cast one vote for Renee Wilson, the incumbent located in Cheektowaga Central School District, to serve as a trustee for the Board of Cooperative Educational Services, First Supervisory District of Erie County, in a term beginning July 1st, 2024 through June 30th, 2027.
Second. Mr. Manna? Any discussion? Ms. Carey?
Okay, yep, I'll continue with the roll call vote. Please say yes or no. Dr. Littman,
Abstain.
Dr. Spicer,
Yes.
Mr. Biscaglia,
Abstain.
Ms. Kazmarek-Bogner,
Yes.
Dr. Singh,
Yes.
Ms. Blackinger,
Yes.
Mr. Manna,
Yes.
Ms. Pullen,
Yes.
Mr. Beelan.
Yes.
Okay, thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Lynn. Second public expression. I don't think we have anyone. Moving on, there are no matters to discuss under district facilities and legislative matters. Committee of the Whole, are there any matters to discuss under Committee of the Whole?
Yeah, again, I'm gonna say that, I really think our job here is to vote on things, not to abstain. And I think that this board needs to entertain a policy on when it is proper to abstain from something. In my opinion, it should only be abstaining if you have a prurient interest, a financial interest in the vote. So I've been on other boards where we had a written policy on what qualifies for an abstention or recusal. And I'm going to submit it to this board and they can do with it as they please.
I actually looked to see what the NYSBA guidance was in terms of abstaining recently. And according to NYSBA, there was a little clip by, I forget who the head lawyer is there.
Jay Rawana.
Thank you.
Yeah, Jay Rawana.
What he said was that if there is a conflict of interest is one reason to abstain. And the other reason to abstain is if you feel like you have lack of information to make a vote at that time at the table. So those were the two reasons that were proposed by NYSBA that would allow for abstention. And so I just wanted to add that information to this discussion.
Do we need to make a motion to decide if we need to have a policy about suspension? Is that the next step? Or do we not even need, what is,
Well, I would believe that it's part of our, to adopt it as part of our board policy.
That would be part of the bylaws.
right? So I'm saying, do we need a motion to further consider that?
Well, I'm going to write, I mean.
Or are you going to write something up and then?
Yeah, like we did with the second public expression.
Okay.
First reading, second reading, all those things. And I appreciate what you said. But, you know, I think if I asked every board member if they could have, they knew every single thing that was on this agenda tonight, every number that was presented to them, and every sentence of every policy, they could not recite what that policy or what those numbers were. At some point, you're not going to know every single thing that comes across our desk. You leave it to the experts that we hire to give us guidance. And at the end of the day, we vote on it. Again, and I'm going to say it again, I think it sends a bad message to the constituents that we're up here to do one thing and one thing only, vote, and we're abstaining from what I think are important matters.
Dr. Lichtman?
Can I comment about my abstention? Is that appropriate?
Sure.
Is it appropriate?
Yes.
Is that?
Well, I listen, I didn't want to belabor this thing. I was going to come up with a policy. I've already spoken way too many times. And usually, you know, if you're going to abstain, you know, you don't take part in the discussions on a topic. But, you know, like I said, I'm not here to, you know, beat this horse yet.
I have a 30-second blurb.
Up to you.
Yeah, no, I just want to state what I've said before when we have these elections. You know, these people are long-term serving members of the BOCES board. I feel as a courtesy to the board, you know, they're an elected official, that they should come and speak to us, and that they are more than just a letter. And that's my personal viewpoint. So if they don't have the consideration to come and speak to the people who'll be voting for them, just like we do when we run for office here, when we have Meet the Candidates night, then I feel that I can't vote yes or no.
Was that shared with them? I'm just being devil's advocate.
Well,
was that shared with them, or is this something you think
always
should
done
happen?
that way. I've always said that through the years. If I don't, you know, if they don't, but do they know that? I don't know.
That's my question.
I don't know.
No.
I would
That,
think
that was my question.
Yeah, I would think.
Okay.
If they represent the vote
Pascalia?
district, they should. That's my personal view, and that's why I abstain.
I'm not discussing why I voted. I was just commenting. Mr. Mann, I understand where you're coming from, and I agree with putting up a policy. I just think it has to have some sort of, when you write it up, to think of conflict of interest and financials, like you did mention. That would be the only two reasons, I think, in terms of abstaining. That's all.
100%.
That's all.
I agree. It has to be, you know, a very specific reason spelled out so we all agree. And like I did with the, when we sent the policy around for the second public expression, several commented, we came to an agreement on what it should say. You know, it's not my policy. It's just, I mean, it has to be our policy if we want to do it.
No, and that was my comment. I support what you're saying. I think there has to be, you know, some stipulations in it. That's all.
And just
if the will of the board is to do it, you know, everyone here has an opinion how to get it done. We can get it done.
Right. But just to the 2 points that you just mentioned, Board Member Biscaglia, when you recuse because of those 2 issues, that's when you give the reason why at the time of recusal.
Oh, I know that. Yeah.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
Yep.
Because that can probably specify those 2 things in that.
Correct.
Okay. Are there any other concerns? Next meeting is a special board meeting and budget hearing on May 9th. With the PTSA Council Board Candidate Night that will follow. The annual district vote will be held on May 21st at North High School Gymnasium from 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. And the next regular board meeting is on May 28th. But we'll be meeting on April 24th. Is there a motion to adjourn the regular board meeting? Mr. Blackinger, Mr. Bueller, all in favor? Motion carries unanimously. Thank you.